everybody. Is my audio live, Heather? You good?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Solution Celebration, where we celebrate the solutions that our partners are contributing to the world of disability. Tonight, we have some special opportunities, but let me get a couple of announcements out of the way first. First of all, this program is being recorded and will be posted on YouTube. So if you want to see it later, send all your friends there, please do so. Sponsors, I really want to thank again all the people who have financially sponsored this activity today and bought tickets and so forth. It's what makes our work possible, and we know you know that. I really speak with all the gratitude in my heart when I tell you that each week amazes me that you give and that you help us in what are really troubling times, but you, the people who give, make it all worthwhile. I speak tonight about gratitude, and I do so because we have so much to be grateful for. But I'm reminded that there are a lot of folks who may not have a lot to be grateful for and may have hollowness in their lives, not because of their own fault, but because of what other people have done. I'm not, let me say this, I guess, to try and summarize my thoughts. When I was 17 years old, if you had asked me whether 50 years later racial discrimination would still be a big problem in this country, I would have said no. I would have said that we humans are better than that we figured this out, we can make a better world. And unfortunately, although we've made some progress, there is still so much yet we have to do. And and I must say something else, and that is, I'm not considered a target when I'm out on the street by police, but I've been with those who are. I've been with people who were targeted for no other reason than the color of their skin. If you'd asked me whether I thought that would be possible back in 1967, I would have said, oh, no, things will be better. But here we are. And I'm afraid that it is still yet left to another generation for us to heal the wounds of segregation and to heal the wounds of racial discrimination. We've made some progress in the professions. And tonight, as you watch, many of the people that you will see being honored are being honored because of their contributions to us. And you'll see that there are many different skin colors. I am honored to work with all of these professionals. And it wasn't true when I started. When I started in the human services field, it was a bunch of white folks all thinking they were going to do good for everybody. And I'm so grateful that we've changed that at least. I regret the progress is so slow and that skin color, something I can't even see, is still such a determiner of our futures in this world. And I don't know any segue to switch. I don't know any graceful way to switch now to honoring our professionals, but I will try to do it. We're honoring initially some of our community partners, people who have been with us, who have worked with us on a day-to-day basis, and who have believed in us. And we are so grateful for that. They came, these partners have come to us and have worked with us as we try and serve folks with disabilities. They have been truly partners and true leaders as we try to change the meaning of disability. So I want to introduce first Tracy Friend. Tracy is going to talk to you about our community partners in Baltimore County, people that I've learned to love and work with. Tracy, I'm turning it over to you.
Everyone, how's everybody doing tonight? I just basically wanted to say that Kate and I have worked closely with Baltimore County Department of Aging, and we have Mary Mills joining us tonight, and Mary Pivwauer. Michelle Mills is the Division Chief of Individual and Family Services. There are 6 programs with about 50 staff members. Mary is the works and runs with the Maryland Access Point and Community Outreach Manager. She supervises 22 people. And basically, when you go into these senior centers, they're safe, it's a safe place for the seniors, and you see the positive mental and physical health that these people have. But at home, this community outreach program that we're doing, and reaching people out in the community to help them, is amazing. That we are doing everything from basic needs of, and this is prior to COVID-19, basic needs for food, medications, people that just need a companionship through a program that they offer, one of their programs, Pearls. And then COVID-19 hit, and I don't even know, they were so amazing before COVID-19, and everything that they have done to help the community, help the seniors, has been phenomenal. And those same people are very, very grateful of everything that you guys do. Every person that I've worked with the past 60 to 90 days is just so grateful and says they can't wait to meet. And just that one phone call a day or that one phone call a week has made such a difference. So the Baltimore County, we wanted to thank you guys and honor you tonight. So Kate, do you want to say a few things? I can turn it over to Kate.
Thanks, Tracy. So, I really wanted to also kind of give my thanks to the Maryland Access Point team of Baltimore County. Just a little not so known fact, I've actually known the Department of Aging for many years before I started at Image Center. I actually met one of the MAP team members actually back in college. My very first semester at Towson University, one of the team members actually was a guest speaker. And I got to know all about the Department of Aging, and that was back before it was Maryland Access Point, when it was Senior Information Assistance. So from that moment on, I was just really fascinated with knowing that there's those resources out there, that there is a wealth of knowledge, and that there are people that are very compassionate and really want to help people the best they can. I also interned at the Department of Aging a few years later, back in 2011, and I also got to know the Maryland Access Point team as well. So it's been definitely an honor to really get to know them from an earlier time. When I started doing some hours over at the Department of Aging back in 2017, my colleague Crystal and I have done that. I'll admit I was pretty nervous because I knew that everybody had this wealth of knowledge, and I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of things to learn and such. But honestly, everybody at that team was just so helpful, stepped up to the plate, gave me a lot of really good information. Mary has been extremely supportive of answering questions, being very patient for me. And, it's been definitely a learning experience. And I can honestly say, like, every week I'm there, I'm learning something new. And especially once COVID hit, it was definitely a turnaround of what kind of resources needed to be given. The big thing was definitely food. So we had to learn a lot of food pantry, food delivery resources. Before I went away on my leave, I had to, again, learn this new information. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to learn all this stuff? Because I want to give, good information to people who call up. But again, everybody's been so patient, so helpful. And basically our role with the Department of Aging, with the Maryland Access Point team is, on their end, they're very knowledgeable about senior services, senior information services, getting people connected with benefits, people getting connected with assistive devices like from our loan closet. Whereas when they partner with us at Image, and we've been partners with them off and on since almost when Image first started. We kind of put our knowledge of disability resources. So we kind of acted like peers. We kind of work with people over the phone if they have a disability related question, or if they have a younger family member that's not a senior but has a disability, that needs getting connected with resources. oftentimes we kind of work together with the MAP office, or we'll put in a referral to Image Center if that person needs some more ongoing services. So it's honestly been a real pleasure and a real honor, and I really do look forward to continuing to learn some new things, because I know when I come back I'm going to be having to learn a lot more new things. So it's definitely been an honor, and I look forward to continuing our partnership.
Okay, Mary or Michelle, or anyone else who's here from Baltimore County, whoever would like to say anything, the mic is yours.
Mary, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you all for this honor. It's really wonderful to receive the appreciation, to hear your kind words, Tracy and Kate. I have to agree with Kate that this partnership really benefits both ways, both the Image Center and the Department of Aging. I think both teams have learned an incredible amount from each other, and all that really benefits those individuals that respond to us or hear from us as we answer the phones. I feel like I can only take a small amount of credit for it. It's not that often that I actually operate the phones. It's really the people that day in and day out are taking those dozens of calls an hour. It's a challenging job. It's like Kate said, you have to learn a lot. You have to learn quickly. In COVID, we really had to think outside our database, which basically went to pot because all the information was different during COVID, and we had to really turn around and create a new system for kind of tracking all that. So I really want to thank, first of all, Kate and Crystal Brockington and Kia Cummings and Stephanie Schwartz, who are all the folks who come work with us. I don't work with Tracy quite as often, but I'm sure Michelle will talk about the hospital to home program, but we do work a lot. I also supervise community outreach specialists, and Tracy often works in conjunction with them. But most of all, I want to thank the rest of the members of the MAP team that work directly for the Department of Aging. So that would be Peggy Miller and Tom Buckmeyer and Michelle Kale and Jeanette Jones and TJ Jackson and Charlene Haberlin. And they're really what makes the team and this partnership so special. Thank you.
Well, and I want to say one of the things that was most impressive was how quickly you guys were able to turn around an operation that was an in-office operation and make it all in home and made it look easy. So congratulations on that.
Well, I don't know about easy, but it's going.
Yeah.
It's going. That's right. That's right. All right. Well, thank you all. Anyone else from the team want to say anything before we go on?
Well, I'm just, this is Michelle. I'm just going to say real quickly, Mike, you and your team have been unbelievably flexible with us. And every time I call you, I'm like, hey, Mike, I got another idea. You're like, okay, let's do it. So between, jumping on board with helping us in the MAP office, Tracy in the hospital to home program, and you guys support our nursing facility program education. I mean, it's all been a package deal. And again, I just really appreciate you being willing to go on this journey and us trying to figure out how to make it work. I do have a confession. When you sent me that first email when COVID was kind of all hitting, and you're like, hey, Michelle, have you given any thought? I'm like, yeah, sure, Mike. And I'm like, I don't have a clue what we're going to do. And I told Mary, I said, Mike thinks I know what I'm doing. And really hanging in there with us and making it work so everybody can telecommute or, work remotely. And we really could not be making it through this pandemic without your team and the support. It just amazing. So this to me just exemplifies a true community partnership. And we, again, are just, it's our privilege and honor to work with you and your team. And, we thank you guys for that opportunity. So really, we wouldn't be doing it without it. And I just look forward to our next adventure. So watch out, Mike. Who knows what I'll be calling you on?
That's all right. I got one I'm calling you on tomorrow. Shh,
okay.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys all very, very much for being here and for being the partners that you are with us. It's really a great experience for us, and it shows. And it shows the public that government really does work, folks. You know, you can beat up on government and you can beat up on Comcast, but when all is said and done, Comcast just puts you on hold. These guys actually get to you and actually serve you, and they're doing a phenomenal job as real people. So thank you again for everything that you folks are doing. Imani Graham, I'm going to turn it over to Imani for our next award presentation. Imani?
Hello, everyone. So I started at the MAP call center in Baltimore City in 2012. And I, just like Kate, was very nervous because Mike was like, Imani, we have this partnership with the MAP call centers and I'm sending you to Baltimore City. And I'm like, oh Lord, you're sending me into the lion's den. And so, but you know, from the day I went, they have always treated me like family. I've been there 8 years now. So I have watched a lot of division chiefs come and I would have to say that Liz and Crystal made the most impact. Crystal is still there, thank goodness. Liz came at the year, Liz, was it 2018, Liz? Liz, are you unmuted?
You're right, Imani. I'm on with you, Imani. This is April from the MAP call center.
Yeah. But
yeah, I think it was 2017.
2017, and she left the summer of 2018. And when she left, she was still doing philanthropy work, of course, because that is Liz. And I would get text messages from her all the time saying, hey, Imani, I got a client and I think she could benefit from Community First Choice or this. And I'm like, Liz, are you retired? What is going on? But she was still advocating for clients as she does. And then Crystal came along a few months ago and she took over. And then the pandemic happened. And it was too much for anybody, especially someone new. So the deputy director reached out to Liz for help, and Liz came in on her white horse and she saved it. And she came in and she called in her contacts as she has. She knows everyone in the world who has a contact for everything. And she got that Meals on Wheels contract. That was the quickest I have ever seen Baltimore City approve any contract in life, because everybody knows Baltimore City takes 6 months to sign a contract, Mike, you know. So anyway, so we got these resources going. Liz and Crystal had never worked together before, and Crystal was right there with Liz. What do you need? I'm here. And they were the dynamic duo. And they got the resources going. They got these seniors fed. And I have never seen so many resources available in Baltimore City. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the MAP call center team, because they are awesome. And they have worked hard. Just the other day, Crystal and Liz were saying 540 calls were answered. I mean, that is a lot. So everybody has been working hard, and I'm honored to be a part of the team. I'm honored to be a partner with the MAP call center, and I'm honored to present Liz and Crystal with this award. And if you two would say a few kind words, I would be grateful.
So Imani, thank you for those accolades. I'm not sure I deserve all that, but gosh, I'm blushing if you guys could see me. No, we are so blessed to have the Image Center partnership. Imani is, as all of you know, who's ever been in her aura, she is inspirational and she brings such a wealth of experience. She was instrumental in the recent ratcheting up of our staff and their training, and you know, we all worked kind of as a cooperative team, and we could never have done this. We are currently serving over 8,000 meals a day for Baltimore City older adults and many people with disabilities, between Meals on Wheels and the Salvation Army partnership, but also our smaller community-based organization partners like Civic Works and Franciscan Center, and all these people who are focused on food insecurities. One thing about the pandemic, it has highlighted some of these, weak infrastructures, and hopefully as we move forward, we'll have a lot more in place with connectivity and, our faith-based institutions who are helping us with food distributions throughout the city. It's been just a miracle seeing it evolve. So thank you, Imani. I thank you isn't even enough. We appreciate everything you do every day. So, and thank you, Mike, for having Imani be with us. She's such a valuable asset. And I'll let Crystal say some things.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Crystal Samuels. I'm the Maryland Access Point Program Manager. I'd also like to say our Assistant Commissioner, Jim McGill, is on the call too. So thanks for joining, Jim. I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you, definitely Imani, for this award. But as Liz mentioned, we couldn't do it without our team. I'm just going to talk a little bit about our team. So we started with 3.5 staff members, and Imani is our part-time staff member. And then in mid-March, once the COVID-19 hit, we increased our staff to a total of 15 information and referral specialists, with 7 to 9 staff working each day in our call center. So our core team, they have worked tirelessly to make sure we're training these additional people that have come in to help. We have our office receptionist is now an information and referral specialist working from home. We have admin support that have transitioned over to assist us with these calls. So during the transition from working in the building to working at home, we've dealt with lots of tech issues, lots of bumps, lots of difficulties with our phones and our laptops and, the meetings and the Zooms and everything like that. But everyone has risen to the occasion, and they have been very supportive of each other. They've been very helpful to our community and individuals that are calling into our call center. Initially, our call center, we had maybe 40 to 50 calls max per day. And as Imani mentioned, this week has been a huge uptick. So we've had over 500 calls each day this week so far. And our staff, they're working hard, working tirelessly, but they're motivated, and they just want to serve our seniors. They don't complain. We don't even get call outs. They're all on the calls to help these people. Phenomenal, especially since I know they're tired, they're exhausted, but they're still doing everything to support this team. So I just wanted to thank them. So thank them and thank you. And Liz, I absolutely appreciate you coming back to help us.
Well, it's been a joy. Imani, do you have the Salvation Army video that you're going to play?
Yeah, yes.
Well, we have pictures here.
Yes,
We have the pictures.
she took shots of pictures, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the video of all that and the process of how they get the meals out and to all the different senior high-rise buildings.
So if we have that video, what we'll do is we'll feed that right into the YouTube version of this so that it's there.
Yeah.
I didn't,
That would be nice.
yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, we'll be glad to do that.
Well, thank you, Image Center, Mike, and your whole team for being patient with the city. I know it can be daunting, some of the contract processes and
and we have had no issues. Thank you guys for that. First time in forever.
Well, we have Crystal to thank for that, and Jim. They're both on contracts.
Yes, thank you,
Jim.
Thank you very much, Jim. Yeah, I shouldn't say it, but somebody told me the other day that Baltimore City was all paid up for, and I said, you're kidding, right?
That's what I said. I said, this is like, oh my God.
But we want to thank you all. Look, it's never the processes that we understand that processes sometimes work better than they do in other times, but we want to thank you guys as human beings who give your lives and your livelihood. And Liz comes out of retirement essentially to do this. It's that kind of spirit that really makes this work worthwhile to us, is finding real partners who care. All right. Are we good? Anyone else? Okay, Angela, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, so one of the things we do here at the Image Center is we engineer devices. For those of you who don't know what else we do, we engineer devices for people with disabilities. We have teams of 85 engineers and 11 schools that we work with around the state of Maryland and some outside of the state of Maryland to build these devices, these one-of-a-kind devices that people with disabilities need so that they can live independently. So I want to turn it over to Angela, and Angela, you can take your time. We usually try and finish by 7, but that's apparently not happening tonight, and that's just fine. Go ahead, and Angela's going to Angela's going to present two of our awards for this year to the people who make our work possible, the engineers who make the VME programs happen around here. Angela, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. So we're going to talk about our client services team, which I am extremely amazed by each and every day. And basically, with this client services team, we call it CST for short. Basically, it's a subgroup of the 85 volunteers that Mike just mentioned. And these are engineers, PTs, OTs, nurses, sometimes welders. But we get together on a monthly basis, the second Wednesday of every month. We have some good food, must say. We sit down family style around a round table, and we talk about every request that comes to VME, which, by the way, VME stands for Volunteers for Medical Engineering, if you're not familiar with that. So we get all kinds of requests, primarily from 7 different counties in Central Maryland. These requests come from parents or caregivers who are just longing to change the lives of the ones that they love. And some of the examples that we receive are perhaps like specialized voice activators, perhaps a specialized crib for a mom or a dad who is in a wheelchair and they want to scoop their baby out of the crib. Sometimes we get requests, for example, like customized salon chairs. We received a request from the Easter Seals who wanted to wash the hair of all their consumers there. And also we get lots of requests for bikes, especially right about this time of year. So what happens with our CST team is they actually take on these requests. We sit down, we talk about each client, what their goal is. We gather information, medical information, which is very important to coming up with these designs. And we really talk through, is this something that VME can do to help the client? Now, these are all devices that you can't buy in a medical supply. You can't buy it on Amazon. You can't go into a Walmart or whatever. You actually have to have it customized for that individual. So whenever we sit down, we have 2 co-chairs, which are going to meet in a minute, Carol Wheatley and Helene Dubé. They are the ones who actually chair our meetings as we sit round table. And then once we decide that this is perhaps a request that we can do, we have a dynamic duo actually go out to the home or to the school. Right now, we're only able to really do it by Zoom. But we actually need to go and meet the client to determine, is this really something that we can do? So on your screen, you see pictures of all types of what we call site visits that we've been on, trying to manage and figure out, is this something that we can do? And I must say that our volunteers are always willing to help out. A little bit more about the CST in general. I kind of looked at the average number of years they volunteered, and most of the people who the average number of years of volunteering on this team are 9 years. So typically this group stays with us a good 9 years to keep the ball rolling. Also last year in 2019, they did 82 client visits, which if you add all that up plus all the meetings, it's almost 500 hours worth of volunteering that these individuals do. So it's really amazing. A little bit behind the scenes, they're very committed. They're very hilarious. They are food lovers, they're world travelers, they're very crafty, they do excellent research work and have a wealth of knowledge and resources. They are willing to get on their hands and knees and sometimes even on their kids on their backs, like we see in this picture with Denise. The little kid jumped on her back unexpectedly. We see hugs, we see smiles, we see looks of hope to change their lives. We see high fives, elbows, and right about now, fist bumps. So, but most importantly with this particular team, they are very, very dedicated. They do what they have to do. They love their craft and they share that love of their craft with us and with the clients that we serve. So right before I introduce you to the team, I just wanted to take a moment to give tribute to Rod Boudreau. He was one of our electrical engineers who passed on this year. He was an amazing man. He was our person who we went to whenever we needed 3D printers, 3D printer projects done, or some soldering done on gadgets, or some technology help. He was the man who really, really saw us through that. So he leaves with us a really rich legacy of where we're going to go from here. And his wife, Margie, is on the call with us tonight. So with that, I just wanted to introduce you to this amazing team. They are like my family away from home. And let's kick it off with Carol Wheatley, Helene Dubé. They are our chairs. We have Carolyn Chanowski, Chuck Michaels, Dave Hall, Denise Arnett, Jim Arnett, John Haug, Kirk Platt, Leslie Cohen, Megan McCormick, Paul Oxenberg, Shelby Tippett, and all of them share all of their different skill set. So with that, I'd love to introduce you to Carol and Helene, who will say a few words. Carol, Helene?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. My first reaction when I found out about this was, wow. We, the Client Services Team, or also known as CST, are wonderfully surprised and honored to be recognized. Carol?
Yeah, when we first heard that there might be a pending merger between V-Link and the Image Center, we had some initial uncertainty about what this was going to mean for us. But Mike Bullis, to his credit, attended our CST meeting early on in the process, and he assured us that VME would continue to serve Maryland residents with disabilities who needed customized adaptive equipment to meet some type of unique need. With the merger, the Image Center has helped to ensure the longevity of VME. It really is a perfect fit between the Image's mission of independent living and VME, since VME is all about supporting the independence of people who have disabilities. Since the human condition spans a wide range of abilities and limitations, Maryland is fortunate to have an organization like Image and VME to meet that broad range of needs. Throughout its history, VME has always been open to people who say, what if? As in, what if there was a device that could do this? Mm-hmm. So the group of people who comprise the CST team bring a range of expertise to the table. People with therapy and other medical backgrounds appreciate the subtle characteristics of the person's disability and limitations and abilities, how to draw on their strengths, and what is the possible trajectory for the future, as well as any potential concerns that need to be considered when we're developing the equipment. And with their various backgrounds, the engineers explore the challenge of designing and building the device, taking into consideration the information provided by the client, the family, the caregiver, the healthcare providers, and their fellow engineers. It's really a great and unique collaboration of combining the human element with the mechanical and electrical component. And following, as Angela said, following the approval by the CST team, the project is then sent to the PRAC team for further scrutiny for feasibility, safety, and then final approval before it's assigned to volunteers to design and fabricate the piece of equipment. And I'm really glad that we're going to be able to provide some tribute to Rod Boudreau. We also wanted to say a few things. We lost Rod just unexpectedly a few months ago. He was an exceptionally talented and resourceful engineer who developed several innovative projects for VME and the Image Center. And he has been and will continue to be sincerely missed. And finally, I wanted to thank you to Angela for her steady support and whoever else was involved in setting up these Solutions 2020 celebrations. It's been such a creative workaround for these strange, weird pandemic times. So thank you again.
Wow, that was great. Thank you, guys. And it's really great working with each of you. I mean, it really makes things run smoothly. And you really hit the nail on the head, Carol, when you said the transition went really well. But it was because of all of you that really helped out with that. So we really thank you and we honor you. And we have a meeting next week. All right, Mike, it's over to you.
All right. I think what I told the CST team on that first visit was, if anything changes and screws up the process, we're doing something wrong. This isn't broke. It doesn't need to be fixed. It just needs to be supported. And that's what we're going to continue to do. So I'm pleased to hear that from your point of view, it has worked out that way. We love this work. We love disability is about inventiveness. Disability is about finding creative solutions. Sometimes it's an engineering solution. Sometimes it's a mental solution. Sometimes it's just a physical different way of getting something done. But you know, solutions are what disability is all about. They can change our entire society. As we, you know, people think of disability as something bad that happens. No, actually, it's just a new challenge that happens, and it's a way to find a solution to that challenge so that you can go on and live your life. And you guys make that possible. You make it possible so people can go to work. You make it possible so they can have a husband or a wife or a partner. You make it possible so they can raise their kids. These are just the fundamentals of life that are so incredibly important to all of us. So I want to thank you guys again. Next week, coming up next week, we're going to have the VME Volunteer of the Year and the Project of the Year. So these are both always awards that kind of leave everybody wondering who's going to get it, who's going to get it. We've got our crack team of investigators out now making a decision about that. Even I don't know who it is. So stand by for that next week on at 6:30 next Monday night. We'll do this all over again. And let me remind you, there is a new program from Image called from Image and all the Centers for Independent Living, Monday afternoons at 2 o'clock. There is I Am is Independence Amplified Maryland, where we bring in key people with from disabilities fields all around the state to talk to us about what's going on with disability, what kind of resources are out there, et cetera. It's an opportunity for the disability community and service providers to learn about the services and the programs that are affecting the lives of people with disabilities in Maryland and the problems. This coming week, we have the director of the Department of Disabilities Technology Assistance Program, Maryland Technology Assistance Program, where people can borrow money for low interest loans and rent and borrow equipment. So Lori Markland is going to speak this Monday at 2 o'clock. The week after that, we have folks from Disability Rights Maryland coming, talking about some of the legal issues around COVID and other projects that they're working on. So if you're not on that list, send us an email so we can get you on the list so that you know about these programs. And we're very excited about it because it's a good statewide opportunity for folks with disabilities to speak out as well as learn. I want to thank everybody for all your attention tonight. Unless somebody knows of something I forgot, I think we're going to declare this a wrap. Anybody? All right. Thank you all and good evening.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Good job.